All right, children, here, one sec. Clean that camera. It's time to pick some garlic, pull garlic. So I'm gonna show you kind of what I'm looking at, what I'm looking for, and then just how to pull garlic. It's super easy, doesn't take a ton of time. Kind of show you the conditions, what you want to look for before harvesting, how to pull the garlic, and then we'll do how to hang the garlic, how to dry the garlic, how to cure it, and then storage. So let's take a look. All right, so as you can see, my garden's gotten a little crazy, but garlic is doing extremely well. So what I'm looking for, okay, so you can see this here garlic next to the cabbage and the pumpkins. What you're looking for is the bottom two leaves to be dry and brown. This garlic honestly is probably past that point. I'm getting a little late in the season, so we're looking at end of July here already. Garlic isn't too tall, but it doesn't get as much sun here as I'd like. And then, you know, of course, getting crowded in by pumpkins probably doesn't help. But we're gonna use a pitchfork. I'm gonna loosen the soil, and then we're gonna pull this garlic straight out. You can see how easy it's gonna be. All right, so I'm gonna try to do this one-handed. So pitchfork, garlic. I'm gonna shove this in. All right. Dig in a little bit and kind of pop up. I'm just loosening that soil. Ideally, you would do this to all the garlic at one time, and then all you need to do is grab that stem, give it a little tug, I'll pull right out of there. This didn't quite loosen the soil enough, so I'm gonna do that again. But you kind of get the idea. You're loosening the soil. You want to pull the roots with it. In. All right, let's try that again. You get yourself a nice bulb of garlic. So not too shabby actually for being a smaller plant. So I got quite a bit of garlic through here. Also some garlic back there, not a ton. So let's get cracking. All right. One thing to keep in mind when you pull this garlic out, you want to keep those roots on and then knock as much dirt off as you can. Soil here is a little wet right now. Ideally, the soil would be dry. That way you don't have any of this muck all over it. But I'm getting pretty late in the season. I don't have a ton of time I can wait, so I'm doing it now right after a rain. Of course, yesterday we got about an inch. But, you know, kind of do what you can. Just try to knock some of the soil off before the next step. All right, well, this is the harvest this year. And this is the difference between the two varieties I planted. So I planted two varieties. I planted Russian red garlic, which can be seen here. I also planted German red garlic, which can be seen here. Planted the same number of bulbs. You can see which one outperformed which. I don't know the reason. All my German rotted really quickly, except this one somehow survived. But I mean, look at how tiny this bulb is, and this whole plant is rotted. So I think the garlic itself might be shot, whereas this Russian red is just phenomenal. So, I mean, some of these cloves are pretty good. These bulbs are pretty good size. I think I'm going to actually keep quite a few of these for seed, but the rest are going to be put in storage. We'll see. Yeah, interesting. So let's do the next thing. All right, so now I'm getting the garlic prepped for hanging. I did one of these already, braiding the garlic. Basically, I'm just knocking off some dirt, and then just to prep it for hanging. So I'm gonna get some of this dirt off. You know, you can do, I mean, if you're good at braiding, you can do more than this. I'm just doing 3 at a time because that's about what I can handle as far as braiding goes. But you just take 3. I'll try to see if I can get this in the shot. But if you've ever braided before, which hopefully you have, I have daughters, so this comes pretty natural to me. You'll just start braiding and just try to get those stems to kind of line up with each other. You don't have to do this. You can just hang them. I mean, I just prefer doing it this way because for one, it's cool. 2, it's just kind of using the plant itself for the activity. I'm also kind of sorting these into like-sized bulbs. So I mean, you can see these 3 are about the same size. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm keeping the big ones with the big ones, the small ones with the small ones. Just for sorting down the road, because eventually here, like I said, I'm going to use the big ones for seed and use the small ones for actual cooking. And just having them organized ahead of time will kind of save that. Yeah, and then let's cross this. Okay, get these. These are hard neck, so the braiding is not quite as easy. But you can see here, I mean, I've already got quite a few, and like I said, I'm sure you could probably do, if you knew how to braid well, you could probably do 6 at a time, something like that. I'm just doing these. Keep the roots on. You can cut these stems off if you want to, a little ways. I keep them on just, like I said, for the braiding purposes. But this is kind of all there is to it. Just keep braiding back and forth. If you don't want to braid, you can just bunch them, do like 6 at a time or so. And then I think ideally you would try to keep the heads from touching each other. That's kind of how I grew up doing it, but I just, when they do fine, like whatever, they're going to dry for quite a while anyway. So yeah, that's kind of this process here. I'll show you what's next in a second. All right, next step. Find yourself a nice dark place. It doesn't have to be pitch black. It could be a garage, it could be a shed, it could be under your porch, whatever. You're gonna want to take your garlic, tie it up like so. You can probably hang it on the braid itself, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. And then find yourself a place to hang it, because this has to hang in the dark for quite a while. It kind of depends. Your climate definitely makes a difference. So some places might take a couple weeks. Some place might take maybe a month or two. In my location, honestly, Minnesota here, you really never know how long it's going to take. But basically, I mean, you're waiting for these leaves to turn completely brown. All right, so I got this hung up here. I got these little nails that I put all over the place, and it's purely just for hanging stuff like this. So we're gonna let this hang right here. And what I did as far as knots go is I did a slip knot here. If you don't know how to tie a slip knot, watch yourself a video on how to tie a slip knot, super easy. And then a square knot up here. You use twine. This is just extra 550 cord that I had laying around. So I just cut a chunk off, probably about 12 inches or so, tied this off, and I'm gonna do the rest here. All right, and that's that. So I got my garlic hung up. You can see there. Yeah, just kind of hanging around here. I didn't have enough to finish a braid, so I just did 2. Not a great garlic here. I've heard other people in this area, so I'm in the upper Midwest, Minnesota specifically, Southwest Minnesota. Not great garlic years. I planted maybe about 100 garlic cloves, and I've gotten, what, 9, 18, 26 out of 100. My Siberian garlic did not grow at all. I planted, 25 or 30 cloves of that. Didn't grow at all. Nothing came out of it. That was in a sunken bed. So just like when I say sunken bed, I mean not raised bed, so just a standard garden. These were all put in that raised garden bed, but for whatever reason, the only one that grew was the Russian red. The Russian red did extremely well. So I planted, 25 Russian red, and I got 25 cloves. I think, the only other extra one that I had was that German. The German, none of them except for that one grew. They all rotted for whatever reason, and I don't know why. My current working theory is we had a weird year as far as cold goes. We had extreme cold but very little snow where I am, so we had like -25, but just almost no snow cover. And then we would have snow cover, but then it'd melt, it'd warm up, and then it'd get cold. It was just kind of all over the place. When I pulled all the grass and mulch off my garden beds this year, oh, jeez, dog scared me. Hey, fish. The garlic was loaded with mice. So I don't know if the mice were eating it. I don't know that mice eat garlic, but maybe they do. I don't know. So anyway, that's the haul for this year. Not very big bulbs, but whatever. It'll work. So that's it. That's garlic picking. We're gonna let this sit, like I said, for a couple weeks. It's not really a specific timeline. Generally, you're just gonna wait until these are super brown and they're completely like bone dry. And at that point, then you're gonna knock off all the dirt, all the dust, get this outer layer of peel off of here, and then throw it in storage. We'll trim the roots, trim the stem off, and then throw that in storage. Look it up online. Usually what we do is we put it in a big grocery bag, like a brown grocery bag, and then put it in a dark paint cabinet or a closet, and let it sit. Ideally, when you're curing this garlic, you should have like a fan or something blowing on this. I don't have power in the shed, so it's gonna take me a little longer. I'm just gonna let it sit. I might run an extension cord out here and blow some air on it. I did just get a used fan, so I might do that, but yeah, otherwise you just kind of sit and wait. So that's it. That's garlic. Have a great day.